Hi everyone, this is part 3 of Fault in Our Stars. This one is kind of more about a medical side. So, one of the downsides of this energy is that we may see a sudden change in the state of some people's health. So, there could be some people that get sick more often, or if you're already prone to illness, you might notice your conditions flaring up a little more often at this time. Um, Part of this is just that the Pisces energy tends to bring on illness all on its own. It loves to send people to the hospital for one reason or another. But this energy can also be exacerbated by stress-induced illnesses, and the potential for injury, especially if you've been daydreaming in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, if you're lucky enough to have a clean bill of health, you might know somebody in your life that's been constantly battling an illness at this time, or maybe even multiple illnesses simultaneously. There could be some people that have to go to the hospital or the doctors more often for one reason or another, and even if you aren't the one who is ill. So fair warning, if you end up having to go to the doctors or hospital, I would expect them to be slightly more busy than usual. The funny thing is that there could actually be some karmic occurrences when these visits do pop up. The karma could surface in a good or a bad way. Illnesses could come up due to stress from unresolved issues. In some cases, the mysterious illness may pop up and ends up being a catalyst for something much bigger in your life. It could be something like you end up meeting someone that ends up being important for you going forward, or possibly you buy a lottery ticket on an outing and you end up hitting the big one. Some of us can end up seeing a change to their medications or their drug regimens at this time. In a lot of cases, I am suspecting an increase in medication intake in direct response to the increase in illnesses that this eclipse energy brings with it. My only words of advice is to be very aware of the intake of certain medications. This energy increases the likelihood of confusing your medications, or taking too much, or taking the wrong combination, or being prescribed the wrong medicine. We will also tend to be a lot more sensitive to the effects of these mind-altering substances, and they could hit you harder than you expected. Drugs and issues surrounding drugs are more likely to be highlighted, not only in our personal lives, but also in the news for one reason or another. As you can guess, this energy is also likely to affect the alcohol intake for many. Those people who might not normally drink much may find themselves drinking a lot more than usual, and vice versa. Like I said before, this energy can make you want to escape into a dream world, and making it more likely for people to find themselves trying to escape and drinking their sorrows away. At the same time, if you are someone who has been battling addictions in the past, this might be your year to kick that habit and finally make that life-changing decision. Take control of your life and end the addiction. In some cases, maybe some people will go overboard, and then the act of going overboard will entice people. Or maybe some people will just suddenly, as the eclipse comes up, nope, I don't want to do it anymore, and they're done. Just like that. So this addiction might not always surround drugs either. You can be addicted to more things than just mind-altering substances. So if you have any sort of monkey on your back, this might be your year to make changes in that respect. Over this time, there could be some people that stop taking certain medications, or start taking entirely new medication, possibly start taking vitamins, or even try an herbal remedy. Or I highly suspect that a lot of people will suddenly decide to switch to something completely new. Possibly something maybe even a little more herbal, or something that is safer than traditional medication, something that is natural and effective for more than one condition. And that brings me to my next topic. This Pisces energy rules drugs in general, but especially cannabis, anything cannabis. And given that this energy lands on the karmic degree that is all about endings, I expect some pretty big changes, dare I say, maybe, possibly. The end of cannabis prohibition and the beginning of global cannabis legalization. With this eclipse happening on the 29th degree in the last sign and the one sign that rules cannabis, and it even has the ruling planet Neptune in there, that has been slowly dissolving the boundaries and slowly dissolving the lies and illusions that surround cannabis for the past few years. And it's just like we've finally been able to break down this wall. This influence has been dissolving the boundaries and the lies that have propped up cannabis prohibition all these years. Some of the biggest changes I see are in how the public and authority figures in our lives, be it police or doctors or parents or anyone or bosses, will no longer see it as problematic as they have in the past. It will suddenly become a lot more accepted, and much of the stigma will just seemingly to dissolve away over these next few years, especially over this next year. And we'll notice huge things, like at different points in this year. It may not happen overnight, or in the same way for everyone around the world, but I imagine many doors opening in many countries. These laws will be changed in their own time, in their own way, over this eclipse period. In some places, the laws may suddenly and miraculously change due to compassionate politicians. Other places due to court decisions, activism, especially the activism of parents of sick children, referendums, or political parties moving towards legalization platforms as a whole. It could be any number of ways, and possibly there could be even some totally unexpected ways as well that just surprise us all. But that is the direction the universe is pushing us in, whether you're ready for it or not. Some of the places may be fortunate enough to experience changes right around the eclipse, but especially within the year after the eclipse and then beyond. By the time this eclipse energy is completely finished in a few years, we should be looking at a completely different global landscape when it comes to cannabis. Like I've said in the past, there's big changes coming for the cannabis community globally. I'm already seeing the effects in so many ways as the eclipse rolls up, and we will continue to see this trend in a big way, which is why I'm doing an entire special on the cannabis movement and the coming opportunities that is likely to manifest as a result of this eclipse over the next year. So if you're a cannabis activist, it looks like this is the energy we've been waiting for the past 8 decades or so. For more information, please like AstroQueen Astrology on Facebook, subscribe to AstroQueen Astrology on YouTube, and have a good day, everyone.